So this is the third quarter market report for Northwest Michigan for 2018. So we've really enjoyed, really for the last 8 years, a recovery of wonderful numbers for the housing market. Values have been up. We're back to pre-recession levels, and actually many markets above pre-recession levels. Number of transactions have been amazingly strong. So in all, we've had a really good ride, but the reality is the market is changing direction. We've been seeing it developing all year, and we're seeing it now really start to take hold as we come into the fall market. And what we're seeing is a combination of a couple of things. Interest rates are up and values are up, so that makes affordability down. If it costs more to own a home because the interest rates are higher and because values are more, and that's going to take a little momentum out of the market. In fact, we saw this in 2017 to 18. This year we saw it in 2015 to 16, and then 14 to 13. In each case, interest rates went up somewhere between 3/4 to a percentage point, and values and demand settled. And if you do the math is pretty simple. It's for every 1% rise in interest rates is a 10% decline in demand. We haven't seen that. In those other declines, it was more in the 3 to 4% range, and this year it's maybe 5 to 6% range. The reason is because other good things are happening. The economy is still strong, jobs are still being created, and incomes are starting to rise a little bit. But what we're seeing now is that the number of jobs being created is slowing because the economy is pretty much near full employment. So we're not getting that boost of home ownership to people getting additional jobs. Really, our key to fuel going forward with home values is going to be household income increase. And that's been going very slowly. So that expectation of that will certainly solve the issue of values going up and interest rates going up and take some of that sting out. But we can anticipate, at least for the next quarter and maybe through next year, a little slower market because we're a little bit out of balance. Values and costs of owning a home are rising faster than incomes are to cover that. So in general, what we'll see is for sellers particularly, you're going to see settling in the market. This time of year the market settles a little bit anyways in terms of activity. You're going to see that a little more this year. Sales year over year have settled throughout the year in all price ranges. So you're going to see a little bit of that going to this year. So expect, depending on the price range, the lower price range is probably fewer multiple offers, but still a strong market. In the middle price range, you'll expect more of a balanced market. In the upper price range, you'll expect probably fewer showings, in all cases fewer showings than you saw this time last year. In general, it's a strong market for sellers, but we're shifting more to a balanced market. In the upper end, we're sliding more towards a buyer's market in many instances. What you're seeing in the upper end often is the difference between, and really it's across all price ranges, but we're seeing it more in the upper end. We're seeing the difference between move-in ready, which is a home that's been updated for kitchens and baths, and maybe the exterior landscaping's been updated, but it's an updated home that's going to attract more attention, and people are paying a premium for that. So in the upper end, you're seeing values rise in that type of home. Whereas homes that are maybe a little dated or haven't had those updates done, you're seeing those homes sit in the market a lot longer and actually decline in value. Now, in the lower price ranges, there's not a lot of home choices, so that difference isn't as stark in the lower prices. But as you get to a higher price range, you're seeing more and more of that. So as a seller, you need to understand where you are in the marketplace, understand the number of homes you're competing with, and that's where your realtor comes in to help walk you through the process. You know exactly where you are. On the buying side, for the same reason, we're going into market with more to choose from. So if you've been a buyer sitting on the fence because it just hasn't been much to choose from, now's the time to look in the marketplace and see there'll be some additional homes coming on the market. The number of new homes entering the market is rising, so you may find opportunities there. Also, for homes that have been on the market 60 days or more, 90 days or more, look at those homes. You may have walked by them before because you're chasing those new homes in the market with the updates. But with the market slowing a little bit, you might find sellers more receptive in terms or price or condition. So don't forget those properties. This is a good time to be looking for a home right now. It's also a good time to be selling in terms of there's There's still a shortage of homes in most price ranges, particularly under $500,000. So you get good activity this time of year. So overall, a changing market in direction, settling market. We'll see that we'll have that continues into next year. Probably we're anticipating it will until home values and home incomes rise to meet the increase in home values. But overall, we're having a good real estate year, just slowing, so you have to adjust your expectations to a new direction in the market. Okay, so here are the numbers for Northwest Michigan. In general, we're seeing a trend across all price ranges, and that is that inventories have been rising, and a number of sales have been rising as well for some markets, depending on the price range. So if you're under 250 in Northwest Michigan, the number of sales actually declined. And that's really because inventory has been declining there too. So it's been very tight. There are not a lot of homes to choose from. Also, with interest rates rising and values rising, and they have been rising in that price range, the affordability is squeezed. So you probably have buyers pulling back and sitting on the sidelines more in that price range than the other price ranges. And above 250, the 250 to 500, in that middle range, we're seeing sales have increased, values are up, and sales are up as well. Inventories are also up there, so there's more to choose from. Buyers are sort of getting off the fence that may have been waiting. They're coming in the marketplace. So it's probably the healthiest segment in the marketplace, the 250 to 500. And actually in the last quarter, for the first time we've seen in a while, the above 500 market was also pretty active. Sales were up quite a bit. Actually, the value per square foot was up 10%. Now, I wouldn't assume that that means that values rose 10% over the last quarter. But what that means probably is that the mix of housing, because when you get up to $500,000 and $1 million plus, there aren't a lot of transactions going on in Northwest Michigan. So it probably was the mix of the type of homes. But what that does tell you is that that values probably did go up in that quarter, which is the first time we've seen that in a while. And inventories actually shrunk a little bit for the upper end, or at least it didn't rise for the upper end for the $500,000. So that means that we had a pretty good quarter for the third quarter in terms of the upper end market. We hadn't seen that for a while. Whether that's a long-term trend or just something unique to the market, sort of all things lining up just right for the marketplace there. Maybe a little extra reaction for the upper end in anticipation of increase in interest rates. There was a little extra flurry to buy homes before the rates went up. But we'll see if that continues into the fourth quarter and the first quarter of 2017. But to give you an idea of where you should consider your competition, how you should consider your property depending on price points, you can look at the number of homes per sale in each price point. So in the under 250 price range is about 5.5 homes for every listings for sale for every sale. When you get to the middle market, 250 to 500, it's about 8 listings for every sale. And over $500,000 and higher, it's 12. Get over $1 million, it's 20 listings for every sale. So depending on where you are at price point, you should understand that ratio and understand the velocity that the market's in and what you expect for showings and for offers. And obviously the higher the price, the slower the velocity, the lower price, the more active the market is. So be aware of that and talk to your realtor about pricing where it is appropriate to the market segment that you're in.